Alright, so Knockout has been out for a few days, and I think I found a strategy to maximize the amount of points that you gain. This might not be the best strategy for everyone, but it's gonna be the best strategy for gaining the most amount of points. Before we start, I did miss on the first day of Knockout, which means I forfeited almost 80 to 90,000 worth of points, because during the day of the update, which was like 3 days ago, you could enter the game and then you could use your 15 tickets and also dispatch your team. I completely missed out on that. Yeah, 80,000 to 90,000 worth of points just gone. So the strategy that I've went with is, and I think what is going to be the best moving forward to gain the most amount of points, is in this dispatch section, you're going to be putting 2 of your best teams, and then for this match section right here, you're going to be putting 3 of your worst teams. Ideally, one of those teams would be your Hilda team, and I'll explain why in a bit. And one biggest reason to why 2 of your best teams should be on dispatch and 3 of your worst team to be on your match section is because you can flip your lowest win rate team from 20 to 30% to 80 to 100% in this match section right here. So if you were to put your weakest team in the dispatch section, the win rate would go up to like maybe 20, if you're lucky 30%, right? So you wouldn't get a lot of points from this one. You cannot flip the win rate of your weakest team in the dispatch section because the match are random, whereas in the match section right here, you can pick and choose your opponents. So that's one big factor. The fact that you can flip your lowest win rate team from 20 to 30% to 80 to 100%. If you know what's the best matchup for your weakest team, then you can get a 100% win rate. So again, like I said, 2 of my best teams are going to be Wu Yu Comp, which is going to be right here, and then my R6 Daji is going to be in the dispatch section. I'm getting about 34,000 points per dispatch, which is not bad. Okay, so that's the strategy, right? 2 of the best teams in dispatch, 3 of your worst teams in match. Now in the match section, there's another strategy that you should employ, which is the first team that you use should be your best team, your second team that you use should be your worst among the 3 teams, and then your last team that you use should be your second best team. The reason why you want to alternate between these best and worst teams is because of this win rate, this multiplier raise. This multiplier will be brought over to the next day. So for example, this is going to be my first team. Since I don't have any multiplier right now because I lost the previous battle, I can edit the formation without any repercussions. Boom, put in Lucas, and then I'll just pick and choose who I know I can win. For example, this is an easy opponent, but he doesn't give too much points, so I'm just gonna refresh real quick. Okay, this team right here shouldn't be an issue for me to face, so I'm just gonna quick battle it. There we go. It doesn't take anything to refresh your stuff, so when you get all of these opponents that are very difficult to fight, just keep on refreshing until you get easy opponents. And the last one seems to be the easiest of all of them, because as you can see, the rival rune system isn't even maxed out. They don't have any resonance. This was probably a bot, because I know Remu is in my guild right now, and it's a pretty big whale. This is not his Espers right now, so this last spot right here is going to be a bot. If you really cannot find anyone else to fight within this top 3 right here, just fight the last one. Okay, this one I should be able to win, because he doesn't have any way to deal with my Ana. There we go, we won again. Again, if I were to run this team in the dispatch section, the win rate would be at 20 to 30% because it doesn't work against most of the meta comps. There's another one that I should be able to win. There we go. I'm getting 5,000 points per win because I'm also using R6 Espers. That's another thing that you should be focused on, is if you have an R6 D6 Esper, try your very best to use them because they'll give you a lot of points. This should be another team that I should be able to win because I'm also outspeeding him with my Lucas. Boom, there we go. Another 4,000 points. And this should also be another team that I should be able to win. Boom, there we go. We got 100% win rate on a team that should not have a 100% win rate because I know who my opponents are and I know I can win against them. That's how you flip your very low win rate team to 80 to 100% win rate. So, okay, so that's my first team, right? Now, my second team, you want to go to edit formation. You want to use your worst teams. My worst team currently is going to be this team where I'm using Hilda and also Momo. And like I mentioned just now, Hilda is good because she doesn't really care about stats all that much. All you need to do is win a 20% chance for her to land the sleeves and you should be doing fine. Since this time my resonance are very low, it's not going to be a lot of points for me to gain, but as long as I can go first with this team against other speed cleave team, I should be able to win. So right here, he has a speed lead or speed cleave team, but he doesn't have an R2 Ethan. That means I guaranteed win. There we go. That's another team that I can win against. 100% win rate against this type of team. Boom. Again, if you were to use this team, this exact team in the dispatch section, you would get like a very low win rate. Okay, so with this team, I cannot win against it because he has an R6 Hilda. So I'll just find another team. I should be able to win against this one, but let's see if I can get any better opponents. Okay, this one I cannot win because he has a Tolan, he'll outspeed me. This one I should be able to win, but we can fight some better opponents. And one more thing, you do not want to risk it. So for example, right, let me fight. Okay, so with this team, right, that Ana could potentially solo me. Even though this team has a very high win rate against Ana, you do not want to risk it because when you lose in the match section, you are forfeiting on 3,000 worth of points or up to 5,000, right? If you have very high resonance in your team. If there is any risk of you losing, at least like 10%, you do not take the fight. You should always just refresh, or if you cannot find any better opponents, then just fight the last one. Okay, so this one is giving me 4,000 points. I'm outspeeding as well. I should be able to win this one. There it is. So far, this very low win rate team is getting 100% win rate because I know exactly who I can go up against, right? So right here, I should be able to win, but there is an R2. I don't think she's going to be a problem because the team doesn't have any heals, and Momo should just be able to solo her entirely. Yep, there we go. Momo is kind of like a fail-safe right here. She is very hard to die. There's another team that I should be able to win, but there is a JJ that could completely screw up my Momo. If he goes for my Momo, I'm kind of screwed. So it's best to just leave it alone and fight some other opponents. This one I should be able to win. Let's see here. Yep, his Genie doesn't even have the Divinate. I'm going first as well. Yeah, there's a very low chance of me losing this fight. There we go. So that's another very low win rate team that I have flipped from 20 to 30% win rate to 100% win rate. So that's my second team. Now, what you want to do is, again, edit your formation, and then you use your best team or your second best team in the last slot, which in this case is going to be my Iki team. Now, why do you want to use your best team in the first slot and your second best team in the third slot? The biggest reason to that is, like I said, the multiplier. This will carry over to the next day, which means if you manage to get a 5 out of 5 wins with your second best team as the last slot, you can keep this formation until the next day. So when the next day arrives, you keep this formation, you do not click on edit formation. You will retain this multiplier phase, which is at 1.3 if you have a 5 consecutive wins. That way you can wrap it up to 10 win streak with this last team alone. So this last team will be my first team in the next day. So that's the biggest reason as to why you want to run your best team in the first slot and your second best team in the last slot. This team I should be able to win fairly easily. There we go. This one I should be able to win, but there is a Ggez which could completely screw me up. So I'll just skip it. There's no reason for you to take any risk whatsoever. If there is a chance to lose, that for example this team, R6 Jinchu, I have a chance to win, but there's also a very high chance for me to lose. Okay, this team, guaranteed win. 4,000 points as well. Very good. This team is a bit wonky. I should have a very high chance to win, but because he has an R2 Ethan, that R2 Ethan is going to defense break my Mavis, and then this Ana will just one-shot my Mavis. And then this Raven will just kill off the rest of my teams. While I do have a very high chance to win against him, I also have a decent enough chance for me to lose, which is not going to be worth it to take the risk. This team is 100% win rate, so we just take the fight. Okay, this team, very risky, so we skip it. This team, 100% win rate. Boom, there we go. And the last match of the day, this one is a bit risky because Shrenpin plus... Okay, never mind, because since his Shrenpin is the fastest in the team, my Tolan will just 0-hour her, and the rest should be dead. There we go. So we got 15 out of 15 wins with my 3 worst teams because you can pick and choose your opponents who you want to fight. If you know exactly who your weakest team is good against, you can flip that 20% win rate to 100% win rate. So for the next day, I will keep this team and use this team as my first team so that I can retain this multiplier phase. And it can go up to 10 wins, and then I'll switch the formation so I can gain more points that way. So we managed to get to 0.7% even with me missing an entire day in knockout, which is not too bad, right? So let's just reiterate once again, what's the best strategy to get the most amount of points? First off, in the dispatch section, you want to use your highest win rate team, a team that can work against most of the general meta comps, which is in this case is going to be Wu Yu comp and also R6 Daji. It works against most of the comp. It gets about 60 to 70% win rate. So you put it in the dispatch section. You cannot pick and choose your opponents in the dispatch section which is the main reason why you want to use your best teams in here so that you can have the highest win rate in this team. In the match section, you're going to be using your 3 worst teams so that you can flip your 3 worst teams from having 20% to 30% win rate in the dispatch section to 80 to 100% win rate in the match section. And the way that you want to use it is in this order right here. First team is going to go to your best team. Your second team that you use in the match section is going to be your worst team. And then the last team that you use is going to be your second best team, primarily for the multiplier right here. You can carry this over to the next day, and your first and your second best team will be able to get 10 wins easier than your worst team. Let me say this one more time. This is not going to be the best strategy for everyone, because if you're someone that doesn't know who your team is best against, then you should use your best teams in the match section. That way you can always just go in and have a high win rate, right? But if you're someone who knows exactly who you can go up against and who your worst team is good against, then employ this strategy right here to gain the most amount of points. So yeah, that's about it. Ciao.